Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today's Friday, so I thought we'll end the week by doing pack 7 of the Agora models release. I build the Lamborghini Miura. Okay, so in pack 7, we're going to be doing some of the steering. I believe we're doing the other door, and I think we're doing some of the battery as well. But if you want to get this for yourself, I have put the link in the video description. You get this all the way from pack 1. I am aware I'm starting to wear Christmas jumpers now. It's the silly season, so you know what I'm like. I've got loads of these, so expect more Christmas jumpers as we go through the month. But without further ado, let's get cracking. So this pack starts with stage 51 here. So let's get this open. We're going to be doing the door glass. And we also have a switch button for the door that we're about to create. So I am going to bring up my partwork upgrades map because we need the door that we were working on in the last stage, which looks just like that. Love this yellow colour here. Let's have it facing me. And the first thing I'm going to do is take this chrome bit of frame, and that's just going to go over these two lugs just in the inside here. So that looks kind of like that. Then I'm going to take the window here, and the window is just going to be following that in the holes and over the top. So now we have one complete piece of window and frame, and then we're going to hold that in with some screws. Just looking what screws come in this one, and these are type A screws here. So I've already put these in a little bit of oil because I am going into metal here, and that is the first one in. You want this tight, but not overly tight, otherwise you could end up cracking that plastic glass there. That was a bit of an oxymoron, plastic glass. There you go. And that's the second one in there. So the last thing to do in this stage is to take the door button, which looks like that. It's going to go through this hole on this side here. And if you look on the top camera, you'll see that the other side of it is just going over this lug, just here on this side. Matter of fact, you might be able to see that in the close-up. Once again, one of these size A screws just to keep that into place. So there you go, that's in. And now that has sort of like spring-loaded, so that will go backwards and forwards, but that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 52, I'm going to be assembling the right door panel. So once again, I want the door here, and I do want this little clip that looks just like that there. That's just going to go into the little cavity we've got just behind that door holder there. So I'm just going to put that in like that. I'm going to screw that down with a type D screw, and that's in absolutely perfectly there. Then I'm going to need the switch. The switch comes in this pack. Just got a wire here, looking like this. It does have a little blue mark at the end, so we know where this is going to go afterwards. I'm going to feed that underneath the little door catch and then pull that through, and then we want to bring it out underneath the hinge here like that. Perfect. And then just seat the switch into position behind that little door catch there. So let me just pull this. So we've got it all the way through. The switch is in there, so now when that door locks, it's going to activate the switch. You can hear it clicking there. Perfect. All I've got to do then is take this inner door card, put this over the top, making sure I'm not pinching any wires there. So that's going to go over just like this. Excellent. And I'm going to secure this in with 4 A screws. So one here, one over this side, and then just 2 down the bottom. And there you go, that's that section completed. We do have the inner door card, but we're not actually using that in this stage. Then stage 53, we're going to be doing the right door cladding. So as you saw at the end of the last stage, we do have this lovely velvety material here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting a handle on this. This comes in this pack, so I'll get this out. I do love how everything's individually packed in here. So the little side of this is just going into the hole there, and then the other one is going to fit just like that there. All the screws come in this pack. We've got a B screw here. Get one of them out. That's going to hold that in just from the other side into this position right in the middle here. We then got a safety lock to put in. Now this one is just going to be a push in. It matches the shape that we've got in there, so I'll push this in, making sure I don't break the detail because it is quite a fiddly detail. It's not going to sit in there on its own. You will need to put a little bit of glue in there. Now it is going to need some glue just on this section to keep this one into place. So I'm just dabbing some glue on there now and put this in. So that looks like that when it's in. Then I've got the door handle to put in, which I've just dropped. It's just going to go into the space that we've got left here. Whoops. Now it's jumping out on its own. And you probably heard that click in, just like that. Turning this over, you can see I've got some small adhesive tape here, which I want to just take the backing off. Excellent. Then we're going to be attaching this to the door. So line it up like this, and then just push the lugs into place, making sure that that's fitting flush in the whole thing here. That's looking really good. So that's how that should look. Perfect. Once again, we've got some trim to go in at the bottom. This trim is already textured. Looks like it's got carpet on it. That's just going to go on the bottom. That's going to complete this door here. So I'm just pushing that in. That's what holds it in. And that is a completed door interior. That looks really good. But that is all there is to do in that stage. Now stage 54 here, I'm going to be working on the interior roof panel. So I want to bring over this amazing roof section here that we had from the last pack and turn that upside down. Now if I just lift up the sun visors here, you can see we've got some screw holes, or where you can see the screws underneath. We're about to cover those up. So all we're going to do is just take them off this little bit of paper here and then just put these on top of the screws to hide the screws underneath. So I'll get all four of these on, and as you can see, they're all on. Put these sun visors back down now. Perfect. Now I can put that to one side because I now need this window support here. This comes with the window as well, as you can see. And I've got this double-sided tape here, which I'm going to need to peel strips of this off and put this around the inside of this section just here. So as you can see, that's all on. I'm going to take the backing off now, just to expose the sticky sides. That's all off. Take the window, and there's a protective bit of plastic over this, which I'm just going to remove. As you can see here, take that off, and I'm going to stick the window into place, just starting at one corner first. Make sure it's seated correctly, and then I can do the whole thing. That looks perfect. And that is all there is to do in that stage. In stage 55, I'm going to be fitting the rear window support to the cross frame and into the central body. Now, it does come with these parts, which we don't need at the moment. I'm just going to put them to one side. What I do need is this metal frame that we had previously, looking like that. Have it this way round. Get the window that we worked on as well. Quite simply, that's just going to go into the top of this section, just like that there. It's going to be held in with type D screws. Going into metal, so I'm putting them in loose, and I will tighten them up with my PH1 screwdriver. That's the last one just being tightened up there. Perfect. I want the central body assembly again now, and what I need to ensure is that the cable that's coming out here is actually just coming out of the side over here, like this, because I'm going to hold that in place with my finger, best on that camera, and drop this into place. So let me just hide that wire. There we go. Dropping that in here. Make sure the wire's not showing. Perfect. So now that looks like that. We're going to secure this down with 2 screws. We've got them to go in here. Now we've got type M screws to secure this down. These are flange screws, and that's going to hold this into place. So one in this side. And just one in the other side. Now I am just loosening screws just on this side here because they want us to, let me just loosen these ones for the window just a little bit as well. Because now we've got this wire coming out from here, they want it actually going through the little hole that you can see just about there. There's no way you're going to get that in that hole unless you loosen those screws up. So I'm going to get this in and show you what it looks like. See, I just got that through there. I'm just going to grab it with my tweezers from the other side. Just like that, and pull that down. Then just tighten up any screws that I've loosened up. So as you can see there, that's how that wire is now going through. And that is all there is to do in that stage. Now stage 56 comes with a couple of bags of screws and this massive box here. I'm just going to get that open, just show you what's in here. We've got a bit of the interior, massive slice of metal this is, look at that, it's really heavy as well. We're not actually using that on this stage though, so I can put that to one side. What I am going to need is these parts that were left over from stage 54, because we're going to be making the battery now. So I'll get the 2 parts of the battery out. Oh, here's the second one. And to start with, we're just going to be piecing both of these together. So line up the lugs and push them together. 1, 2. We've got a battery. Now we have got the terminals to the battery to go in. One there and one here. They are different. So the one that looks like this with the tab in is the positive terminal. And we want to make sure that matches the positive and negative on here. So I'm going to get this positive terminal one in first. Just see how it sits in there. Am I going to need glue? Very tight, so no, I'm not going to need glue in there. But that's the terminal in like that. And then I just do the negative terminal on the other side. And as you can see, there you go. In stage 54, we also had these cables here, which I'm about to tie to each of those terminals there. Historically, I'm always going to put glue just on these because for me, during the build, I just don't want them falling off. I can't be dealing with that. So by doing this, I don't have to worry about that. Slip these on. So when they're both on, they look like that. Now we've got some little cradles or handles for the battery here. Get them out. And they're just going into the recesses, but they are hinged. So what I'll do is I put the hinges in each side, one in this side, one in the other. And that sits like that. And do the same on the other side. They are directional, so it goes down like that. Put this one in as well. Very detailed part, isn't it? And there we go, that's the handles on as well. Now we've got a frame for this to go on. This is the frame here, so the battery is just going to be going over this position here with the terminals pointing towards the back. So it's going to sit in just like that. That's held in with type B screws. That's one. And that one's 2. And then if we look underneath this frame here, I'm now interested in this little rectangular section just here. Because for that, I'm going to need the steering column, which I'm just about to open. This end here is going towards where the battery is, but it's going to sit into that little indent there with the wheels either side of that rectangle. I do want to clamp that into position, so I've got a cap for that, which is just going to go over the top here like this. Excellent. And it's going to be held in once again with a type B screw. That's secured nice and tight because we don't want that steering column to be wiggling around. It should be nice and secure in there, which it is, but still able to turn, as you can see there. And with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 57, I'm going to be fixing the front frame cover. And I've got things like the steering rack and stuff like that in here. But for now, I'm just going to put all of that to one side, because it's this massive metal frame that we had in stage 56 that I'm going to require. As you can see, holding it this way, we've got some holes just here. So the way this is going to be is where we had the battery, we've got this lug at the front. That's going to go into the hole just at the back here. So it lines up like that. And we're going to secure this into place. So, first thing I'm going to put in is size A screws. And they're just going to go into the 2 holes just at the back here. So, one that side. Remember, going into oil, so these are definitely going to need going into oil, going into metal. So, they're definitely going to need some oil. And my super duper PH1 screwdriver. That'll get them in nice and tight. Turning this over, where we just put that battery then, we're going to need a size B screw. And that's just going into this middle hole here. So now that's fully secured in there. And believe it or not, that's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 58, which is the last stage here, you can see in this bag that we've got horns and we've got some other details, but we're not actually using any of those in this stage. So I'm going to keep that safe for next time. What we do need is the parts for the steering that we had in the previous stage. So I'm going to get out the steering rack here, and I need the steering dampener, which looks just like that. Now this is going to go into the bottom of the... let's get it round the right way first. Wants to be round this way here, into the bottom of the steering rack this way round. So it's going to go in like that there, and this here. It can't go in any other way because of the size of the lugs on each side. But it is a very tight fit, so it should fit in perfectly like that. Bring over this part again, just here. And I'm going to be putting this in position. Now you can see the gear of the steering rod there. And you can see the rack here. We need to make sure that fits on top of this. So it's going to be in like that there. Now we've got 2 type A screws to go in here, but those screws are going to go in with washers. And there's the A screws. So let's get all of these out. Put a washer through the A screw. Get this loaded up on my screwdriver. So I'm all ready to go. Because I'm going to want to hold that in place to actually put this into position here and get that screwed in. I'm going to use my heavy duty screwdriver again. Do the same on the other one. Now you do want to make sure that you don't do it too tight, so this is able to move, as you can see there, no problems at all. Now I need the right steering arm. That's labelled with an R here. Get that out. I'm also going to need an end screw. And basically I'm going to slot this steering arm through the section over this side here that you can see through the hole there. And it's sort of like on a fork. So when I put this through, the end screw is going to clamp that into place. And you want to make sure that it's in place so that this small section on the end here is pointing away from the battery. Don't know if you can see that on the close-up. Hopefully you can. I'm going to get this in to secure this into place. There we go. That's in. And doing exactly the same thing, we're going to do the same on the other side. And screw that into place. So by the end of it, it should look like that. And that's all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. There was actually a fair bit to do in that stage, but as you can see, we've done the inner section there with the battery on. And we started to do the steering. We finished the other door, so that's both the doors completed now with the interior card. And then finally we added the window partition to the center section of the Lamborghini. So looking good. Absolutely love that yellow color. That's as close as I could get to yellow with the lights behind me, so it complements the build. Once again, if you want to get this for yourself, put the link down in the video description. You can get this all the way from pack 1. But have yourself an amazing weekend, and I'll see you next week. Take care.